This is video SLA 3, Meaningful Interactions. The purpose of language is communication, and it is best learned in the process of other learning. Meaningful interactions are characterized by a need to communicate, many opportunities to practice, and the provision of immediate feedback. Authentic interactions provide motivation to learn. These interactions are perhaps best accomplished through student-to-student work with texts and other content material. Collaboration is most engaging when participants see a purpose to working together. In collaborative learning structures, students are motivated to work together only when they know that they can achieve more as a group than they could individually. Learning is deepened because interactions are substantive or meaningful. Students learn not only from teacher comments on their work, but also peer comments. This promotes the notion of audience in written and oral production. Collaborative learning allows students to practice new concepts and language. Interaction encourages cooperation and discourse, which drives language learning. Students have opportunities to use academic language in addition to developing important social language skills. Negotiating meanings is a way for students to modify their oral and written language in response to misunderstandings, miscommunication, and other components of interaction between peers. This is as much the case for peer-to-peer interactions as it is for peer-to-teacher interactions. Thus, meaningful interactions promote development socially, communicatively, and academically. The co-construction of classroom knowledge establishes identity and membership in a classroom community. These have all been identified as prerequisites for motivation in reading, writing, listening, and speaking in a second language. Let's look at some task types that promote meaningful interactions between students and with oral and written texts. Essential questions are those that teachers ask of students to encourage evaluation, synthesis, and analysis. These are questions that require students to think critically about text. In English, we use question words such as which one, what if, how, should, and why. Students can answer these questions about oral and written texts while in collaborative learning structures, pairs, and small groups. Explicitly teaching students to take notes, code texts, and discuss these texts in groups is a valuable language and literacy learning strategy. Students that know how to approach new texts are more likely to become engaged in reading those texts. If we want our students to think critically, that is beyond yes or no responses and single-word answers, then we need to provide more time for students to think, collaborate, and share. Visual materials and graphic organizers promote greater comprehension of texts and provide scaffolds from which students can talk about their learning. Similarly, quick writes scaffold interactions with peers by allowing time for students to clarify their own thoughts before sharing them with others. In this presentation, we have learned that meaningful interactions among students and with texts promotes cooperation and discourse, which can lead to language development. We overviewed some task types that promote meaningful interactions. Now we will test your understanding of this video.